Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
And we're here to discuss NCIS. Unfortunately, we were not able to infiltrate the CBS offices and convince them to air a new episode tonight. That is still not happening. But we said we would be here for you and we would have something fun to discuss.
Yep.
And we do. You want to give us an introduction?
Today we're going to talk about Tiva. We're going to talk about Ziva. We're going to talk about Tony. We're going to talk about what we think we're going to see coming up this season with those two. Yes!
Get your dive caps on. Get your goggles. We're jumping off and we're going into the deep end.
Yeah, we are.
Before we do, though, if you like this video, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And also, if you have a question that you want to submit for the CARTERMATT question party this weekend that Jessica and I are doing, leave it in the comments and indicate that it is for the Q&A video coming up so we know to not answer it right now in written form.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do we begin here?
Well, we've seen a lot of comments online, on Twitter, on Facebook, here at the channel, people talking about what they want to see. So what do we know? We know that there's 2 more Ziva episodes.
Yes.
That's really all we actually know.
Yeah.
So are we going to actually see Tony? Nothing has been confirmed with that yet.
No.
What our theories are,
Yeah.
I don't know if your theory is the same as mine, but my theory is, yes, we're going to see him. And it's based on the writing of the 2 episodes that we had this season with Ziva in it, with all of the talk about Tony, the phone call at the end with GIBBS calling up Tony. She didn't answer the phone, but it feels like there's enough groundwork being laid in the episodes that if they don't deliver some kind of reunion, I'm not sure how that story is really connecting then. There has to be something.
I think there will be something. I think whether it be this season or next season, I think probably this season, I think they have to recognize on some level that they have put themselves in this situation. They have put themselves in a position where if they don't bring back Tony in some capacity, it's not going to be fulfilling. The question, of course, is when are we going to see Tony?
Yeah, and my feeling, at least for the amount that they have brought Tony up, is that this is just my gut feeling. This is not a confirmation. Yeah. This is just what I feel, that they have already talked to him, that there's already been something set. I just feel that the showrunners are not going to put out there as strongly as they have about Tony and Ziva if they hadn't already even just, and I'm not saying it's necessarily like lockdown or whatever, I feel like it probably is, but that they at least floated the idea out to see if he's interested, to make sure that there's time to do it or a way to do it, since Bull shoots at the same time as NCIS and on separate sides of the country.
Yeah, I think there's probably already really deep conversations that have been had. I think there's probably some schedules that have possibly been arranged. Signs point to Cody DePablo being back on set this week. That's been kind of the rumor that's out there. I mean, at the time of this recording, I haven't seen any photographic evidence of it, but it does make sense because this is around when Cody has said in past interviews that she would be back on set. This would be her 3rd appearance of the season, 3 out of 4. I do not believe that we will see Michael Weatherly in her 3rd episode on NCIS.
No, I actually don't think that. I think that we will see him this year. I feel a little more confident than you, maybe. Or sorry, not this year, but I mean this season.
Yes.
But I think it will be after Christmas, because I just feel that the only time that Michael might be able to film is over the holidays, because he's not going to be working on Bull, and they're not going to shut down production on Bull so that Michael can come across the country and shoot another show.
Yeah, it's just the thing that makes the most total sense, that it would be for an episode, or maybe Cody's 4th appearance. What better way to tie up the Ziva storyline than bringing Tony back, having the 2 of them have some sort of reunion, having it air. But if it was, let's put this together here. Let's say maybe this film's mid-December. somewhere around there. Like maybe it's a day after Michael wraps from Bull for the year, then he comes out to LA and does NCIS.
Yeah.
This has February sweeps written all over it in giant blinking letters.
Absolutely. And I know a lot of people out there were talking about the 400th episode. We've talked about the 400th episode. But I am starting to lean more into that camp, that this is going to be something that they're going to hold on to till sweeps, and that they will air it in sweeps. Yeah.
And I think one of the ways that they might even try to push this even further is CBS always airs the AFC Championship game. It's not the Super Bowl. Like, let's not get too crazy here. And I mean, the episode She was boosted, I think, significantly by airing a commercial during the Super Bowl. But I do think that there's a pretty good chance that this is something that could be hyped up during the AFC Championship game, which wouldn't be that long before the February sweeps period comes into play. Maybe they put a teaser in there that something could be coming, and then maybe around early to mid-February, we end up getting this moment, and then all of the internet explodes.
Well, depending on what the moment is. And this is where we're going to kind of dive into that, because we've seen lots of people that want to see them get married on the show, and that this episode will be the episode where we will see a Tiva wedding. I actually don't think that that's where this is going to go, and that hurts my heart to say that. I want to believe in my heart that I'm going to see a wedding, but they're going to save it. That's what I think is going to happen, and it will be saved for the next season.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's say Ziva and Tony finally get to reunite. I don't think it's going to be a situation where after everything Ziva has went through, she is just like, hold on, and then she runs across the street to a wedding dress shop and puts on a dress.
And I don't want it to be like that. Like, I feel that this next episode is not going to be the reunion. We will see the reunion or whatever has happened between them to get back together or reunite in some way, work out whatever the complicated situation is that they have between each other, because we still don't even know what that is. Yeah. Does Tony know? Does he not know? I personally think that he knows. She went underground and was like, I don't agree with this, but you have to do what you have to do, but I don't agree with it. So I feel that they need to reunite. They need to be able to have more time before it's just, and now we're married.
To me, I feel like to do a really good wedding episode, this is something that they should consider, is maybe doing one of these crazy situations where next summer, before NCIS proper really starts shooting, or even before Bull starts shooting, maybe you just start up production for NCIS a couple weeks early. You do something that's just sort of fun and special with Cody and Michael, where you do a wedding episode where they're planning to get married, and then a terrorist shows up threatening to destroy it all, and then you bring in the NCIS team, and they help to save the day. They stop the terrorist, and then at the end of it, Ziva and Tony, they get married. That was just terrible. This could be great.
This feels like what happened with Castle, and we don't need a return of that. That was really awful. It should have just been, here's the wedding, let's enjoy the wedding, and let's all move on from the wedding.
Yeah, but no shows out there ever give us that anymore. I mean, even in NCIS LA, they sort of had, here's the wedding, but first, let's have people punch them in their tuxedos and get into fights.
Yes, and that's okay, but I don't want it to be like they're about to get married and then kablam, everything goes terrible. It doesn't have to be like that. It can still be like, hey, we're on our way to the wedding, and things are happening before the wedding while they're getting ready for the wedding, but the wedding still happens, and it happens great.
Yeah, I'm going to make it clear here. I do not want to repeat a Castle, which is terrible. I just want there to be a situation where you get to see some action, but then still plenty of time for romance. And just to me, it makes sense to kind of do it then, and then maybe air it a little bit later on, like next fall, like next November sweeps in 2020. Yes. You can just film it out of order a little bit so that you still have your typical NCIS stuff and you're giving us that big moment. But there's another question I'm really thinking a lot about here. Yeah. Because let's say that we have the big Tony Ziva reunion moment in February. Yep. Why wouldn't Tony and Ziva just come back to NCIS?
Maybe they've moved on. people do move on from things. I mean, I started my career of, being an adult in finance, and I was in finance for years and years and years, and then I was a licensed funeral director for a long time, completely different. Now I've been a journalist for a very long time, also completely different. People change over time, where maybe they just don't want to do that anymore. They want to do something else. They've moved into a different time in their lives. Maybe one of them would want to come back part-time and do some work. Maybe neither of them want to. It's just hard to know. Ziva might be just tired of this at this point and just wants to be a mom and be a wife and enjoy her home for just a little while and just take a breath.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, they're not going to be bringing back Tony and Ziva as full-time characters anytime soon. I think it's just going to be how, once you bring them together, provided, of course, they do get brought together, how do you then try to set them up for whatever their future is going to be without being like, setting yourself up so that they should be around all the time and then you get disappointed when they're not.
Yeah.
I think that's delicate.
I think as long as, I know there's people like me and like you that would love to see them back on the show, but we all know that Michael is on his own show doing something else. He's not coming back full time. It's just, it's impossible unless you're going to clone Michael or he loses his other show, which is, not something that he wants or fans want. They don't want him to lose his show. But I feel that there can still be a good resolution with this story that all of us who love these two characters can feel good about, that we see them reunite, maybe next season we can see them get married, see them happy, and they can go into the sunset and enjoy their lives. Or if Ziva does come back part-time, we all know that they're happily living together. So if Tony has decided to go and do something else in life, no problem. It's like Delilah and McGee. We don't get to see Delilah nearly as much as we wish.
Yes.
Or I wish.
Yeah, I love Delilah.
But I know that they're happy. I know that they have a really good relationship. They're married. They have their twins. That there's a happy family unit there. I don't need to see her to know that it's there. And that can be something after we get the reunion or after we get the wedding, that we know that they're happy. And that's what I think all of us that love Tiva want. We want to know that they're together, and we want to know that they're happy.
I think in the end, it's going to be really fascinating to see what they do after they have this sort of reunion, because there is this school of thought of just say, you know what, they're happy, let's just leave them. You all are going to know that you have this happy ending now. There's no real need necessarily to bring them back. Do you at that point then just say, you know what, we're just going to move forward, we're not going to bring them back at all because we know that they're happy? Or do you decide to bring Cody back here or there, maybe like a Fresnel or something like that? Or even if you
the second one.
There's another school of thought here as well, though, which is, maybe Cody just moves forward and ends up finding another show and then ends up sort of just kind of moving on herself to that degree.
And that would be fine as well. It would be okay for me to see her back on my TV. It was really enjoyable to have her back as Ziva. Yeah. But I think what I really just enjoyed was having her back on my TV. So yeah, if she gets another show, great.
Yeah, I think.
But if she can come back, and I've said it before, there's an open desk there. Reeves is not there anymore, unfortunately, but his desk is open. Yeah. There is a spot on the team. She could be there to come in, not necessarily full-time. Yeah. Even though Reeves was full-time, he wasn't on every episode. Yeah. That could be the same sort of thing. She could come back part-time, and really special cases that they need somebody to come in ninja, she can come in, and we can all take a trip to Ziva Town a couple times a year and enjoy her like we do for now.
I think ultimately it'll probably come down to a certain extent to what Cody wants to do herself.
Yep.
In terms of what she's open to, how she wants to explore this moving forward, because I think she wanted to come back this time because it was something that was meaty and interesting and more than just, a one-episode cameo.
Yeah.
If they come up with fun stories and it seems as though she's had a good experience there this time, anything is possible. The sky is the limit. Create whatever cliche that you want and put it out there into the universe. But we have more episodes of NCIS to be talking about very, very soon. We have one coming up next week. It's going to be a big one for KASIE. So if you haven't seen that video, check that out. A link is in the description below. Anything else you want to say before we wrap this one up, though?
Just bring me a reunion. I can at least start with that. If I can get that in this season, I'm all right. I can wait for everything else. Just if you're out there and you're listening, Steve, Frank.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
We're doing this again.
No. I'm kidding. But I would really like to see it. And I feel like we will.
All right. Well, let's hear from you guys now. What do you want to see in terms of a Tony and Ziva reunion? When do you want it to happen? How do you want it to happen? Share your thoughts in the comments, and also give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking that link in the description to the CARTERMATT store, and we'll see you here next time.